Hey guys, I'm Maryam. Welcome back to my channel. Today's look is super simple, easy, natural. It is actually something that I wore on the last day of my LA trip. I posted it on Instagram, on Snapchat. Snap fam went crazy. You guys asked me a whole bunch of questions about it, so I figured I'd do a tutorial. Also, I wanted to add a little twist to this tutorial. I was super inspired by the new makeup meets freckles trend. You know the one, you've seen it on Instagram, you've seen it here on YouTube. And I thought I'd showcase two ways to kind of rock your freckles. The first one being is if you have natural freckles like I do, and the second if you don't have freckles and you want to have freckles, so you want to fake it. So I'm going to show you how to do both ways, and I hope you guys like it. Thank you so much for watching, for subscribing. Don't forget to follow me on my social media platforms, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, and my blog. I love you guys so much, and I hope you enjoy. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is apply my Glow Tonic To Go pads just to the center of my face. And you can definitely skip this step if you are more on the dry side. But because I'm oily, I'm going to get rid of all of those oils that are concentrated in that nasty T-zone. I'm going to wait for it to just sink in a little bit and dry. Next, I'm going to be using the Pore Vanishing Stick by the Estée Edit. And I'm going to apply it straight from the tube all over my porous areas, sort of in a sun rays pattern from the center outwards. I'm going to apply a little bit to my forehead between my brows, and the only thing that I'm going to blend out is the edge of that shape. With this product, I find that it's better if it's kind of kept solid. I don't really like spreading it across and blending it out too much. Okay, moving on to concealing my imperfections. I'm going to be using one of these three NYX Wonder pencils. They come in light, medium, and dark, and I'm probably going to go for the medium. I also have this Say No to Imperfection stick by Essence Cosmetics, and this one is pretty light, but it has sort of a peachy undertone, so it'll work for some areas. So what I'm going to do is basically conceal those imperfections that I want to hide that aren't freckles, such as acne spots, a little redness, irritation, scars, those sorts of things. However, I'm not going to touch any of my freckles or the ones that I want to show up and shine through the foundation. So I'm just going to go very gently, covering up those unwanted spots. You want to avoid super creamy concealers with texture, because then it'll look like you're actually covering something up. I'm going for very light formulas and just dotting it on. So now that I've concealed all of my imperfections and all that I'm left with is my freckles, I'm going to apply my foundation. The key here is to use a foundation shade that is closest to your skin tone, or as close as possible. So for me, that's L'Oreal True Match in W6, which I'm proud to say is also JLo's shade. Me and JLo, we have the same skin tone. What can I say? I really love this foundation. It's probably one of my favorite drugstore foundations. And I love the fact that the coverage is sort of buildable, so it's not super duper full coverage, but it can be built up that way. So what I'm gonna do is apply some to the back of my hand, then take a beauty blender sponge, which is already sort of damp, and I'm gonna start by patting it into my hand to pick up the product. And I'm gonna start applying it to my jawline. Do you see how this foundation isn't necessarily changing my skin tone? It's just making it more perfected. So that's the key here. You want to apply a very thin layer, making sure that it's blended out properly, and that you apply minimal product to the freckle area, which is generally across the cheeks and top of the cheekbones and along the nose. So I'm sort of building my way up. I'm applying the most product to my jawline, which is where I have my problem areas. And then whatever's remaining on the sponge, I'm just bringing it up. Applying the rest to my forehead. Here you can apply as liberally as you want, or as liberally as I want, since this is the area where I don't really have many freckles. Tarte CC Under Eye Corrector for those dark circles. Just a little bit, I'm picking it up with my finger. And just placing a couple of dots to the darkest area of my under eye, which is right here. And I'm trying to be very careful not to cover up any of my freckles. Now, if you must, and only if you must, take a taupe or a light brown sort of pencil, sharpen it, make sure it has a nice tip, and bring back some of those freckles that you might have eliminated. Very gently. Who knew that freckles would be so in? Growing up, I hated my freckles. I couldn't understand why, with my features, I have freckles. It just didn't make any sense to me. But now it's all the rave. Oh, and by the way, for the freckles, I'm using Motives Kohl Eyeliner in Suede. Link is down below, as always. And I'm just going over my natural freckles, the ones that I already have. So I'm not drawing any extra ones. I'm just going over the ones that I really want to highlight. What I'm gonna do now is set everything with my Dermablend translucent powder. And where are my brushes? Can't use my sponge because that's gonna give me too much of a heavy application. So be right back, I'm gonna go get my brushes. Got my brush, where was I? Dipping it into my Dermablend translucent powder and setting my under eye ever so gently. And then I'm gonna pick up a much larger brush and just gently dust everything over my foundation, my fake freckles, my real freckles, everything. Starting with the jawline, just gonna pack that on. Now that I've set everything in place, I'm gonna add some bronzing powder to the perimeter of my face. And because the freckles naturally come out with the sun, we wanna give our skin a nice good glow. So I'm gonna be using this Sizzly gel-like bronzer. It is called Sun Glow Bronzing Gel Powder. I'm gonna use this NYX fan brush. It's nice and big, so it's perfect for bronzing. And I'm just gonna go over the perimeter of my face. A nice, warm, bronzy glow. Now, when applying the bronzer over the cheekbones, you don't wanna rub. You wanna just pat it on because you don't wanna smear any of your freckles in case you drew them on. Same with the nose. Go ham with the jawline because that's where no freckles are present. For the cheeks, I'm going to be using Pure Cosmetics Cheek Stain in Peach Bellini. Just going to gently pack that onto the apples of my cheeks. And to do this, I'm going to smile. For the highlighter, I'm going to be using this Jeffree Star highlighter in Peach Goddess. It's his Skin Frost collection. And I've never used this, so I don't know how pigment or potent it is, but it looks pretty good from here. Just gonna apply some to the tops of my cheekbones, the nose bridge, the usual spots. I'm keeping everything in the peachy, sun-kissed, bronzed family. I don't want anything to be too pearly or too different looking from my skin tone. I want everything to be very natural, very glowy. Maybe a little bit on my inner corners. Ooh, that is pretty. Okay, center of the lid too. Okay, so essentially that is it for the face. I'm gonna do my brows and my eyes, and I'll be back for the lips. All right, my loves, here is the final look. The big reveal. I did my eyebrows, my eyes, and my lips, and I did it off this tutorial, but of course I have little mini tutorials on my Instagram, so if you want to know how any of this was done, you can go there and check it out. Thank you guys so much for watching, for subscribing, and for following me on all my social media platforms. Don't forget to follow me on my Snapchat. I want to make sure that we connect before my frequently asked questions video that is coming up. And of course, don't forget to leave me your questions, comments, requests, anything you want to know down below. I love you guys, and I'll see you in my next tutorial. Mwah!